Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Mountain Lake Files. Tonight, we are going to talk about the Kentucky Goblins. The Kelly Hopkinsville encounter, aka Hopkinsville Goblin case, Kelly Greenman case, was claimed close encounter with extraterrestrial beings in 1955 near Kelly and Hopkinsville in Christian County, Kentucky, United States. Ufologists regard it as one of the most significant and well-documented cases in history of UFO incidents. While skeptics say the reports were due to the effects of excitement and misidentification of natural phenomena such as meteors and owls, psychologists have used the alleged incident as an academic example of pseudoscience to help students distinguish truth from fiction. On the evening of August 21st, 1955, 5 adults and 7 children arrived at the Hopkinsville police station, claiming that small alien creatures from a spaceship were attacking their farmhouse, and they had been holding them off with gunfire for nearly 4 hours. 2 of the adults, Emmer Sutton and Billy Ray Taylor, claimed that they had been shooting at 12 to 15 short, dark figures who repeatedly popped up at the doorway or peered into the windows. Concerned about the possible gun battle between local citizens, 4 city police, 5 state troopers, 3 deputy sheriffs, and 4 military police from nearby U.S. Army Fort Campbell drove to the Sutton farmhouse located near the city of Kelly in Christian County. Their search yielded nothing apart from evidence of gunfire and holes in the windows, doors, screens made by firearms. Residents of the farmhouse included Glennie Langford, her children, Lonnie Charlton and Mary, 2 sons from a previous marriage, Elmer Lucky Sutton, John Charlie J.C. Sutton, and their respective wives, Vera and Aileen. Aileen's brother, O.P. Baker, and Billy Ray Taylor, and his wife, June, both Taylors. Lucky and Vera Sutton were reportedly Internet Carnival's workers that were visiting the farmhouse. The next day, neighbors told 2 officers that the families had packed up and left after claiming the creatures had returned about 3:30 in the morning. The family's claims received widespread coverage in local and national press. Early articles did not refer to little green men. The color was later added to the newspaper stories. Estimated of size of the alleged creatures varied from 2 feet to 4 feet, and details such as large pointy ears, claw-like hands, eyes that glowed yellow, and spindle legs later appeared in various media. Psychologists Rodney Schmaltz and Scott Linneyfield cite the alleged incident was an example of pseudoscience as an extraordinary claim to help students develop critical thinking skills. It is plausible, if not likely, that the aliens were great horned owls, and there is some evidence that eyewitnesses may have been intoxicated during the alien attack. Committee for Skeptical Inquiry member and skeptic Joe Nickel notes that the family could have misidentified eagle owls or great horned owls, which are nocturnal, fly silently, have yellow eyes, and aggressively defend their nests. According to Nickel, meteor sightings also occurred at the time that could explain Billy Ray Taylor's claim that he saw a bright streak of light across the sky and disappear beyond a tree line some distance from the house. According to author Brian Dunning, there are simply too many similarities between the creatures reported by the families and an aggressive pair of the local great horned owls, which do stand about 2/3 of a meter tall. French ufologist Ronald Leslet also argued in a publication that the explanation of the case is great horned owls. Ufologist Jerome Clark writes that the supposed creatures floated through the trees and the sounds of the bullets striking them resembled bullets striking a metal bucket. Clark describes an odd luminous patch along the fence, where one of the beings has been shot, and in the woods beyond a green light whose source could not be determined. However, this description was consistent with foxfire, a bioluminescent fungus of decaying on wood. Clark also wrote the investigations by police, Air Force officers from nearby Fort Campbell, and civilian ufologists found no evidence of a hoax. However, Brian Dunning's reports that the claim that Air Force investigators showed up the next day at Mrs. Langford's house has been published a number of times by later authors. But I could find no corroboration evidence of this. Dunning also observes that the 4 military police who accompanied the police officers on that night of the event were from the Army base, not an Air Force base. Some ufologists compared the alleged creature to gremlins, which have since been referred to as the Hopkinsville Goblins in popular culture. Ufologist Alan Hendry wrote, "This case is distinguished by its own duration and also by the number of witnesses involved. Project Blue Book, however, listed the case as a hoax with no further comment." So, isn't it weird that all these people were just nearby? So let's move back for a little bit. When the people reported this incident, okay, 4 city police, 5 state troopers, 3 deputy sheriffs, and 4 military police were nearby. U.S. Army. I mean, phew. I don't know about you guys, but as many of you guys know about the Kentucky Goblin case in Christian County, the Kelly Hopkinsville encounter, Hellier has been investigating this, and they did a season 1, a season 2, and I believe they're going to be doing a season 3. We know there's more to this story, and we also know there's a lot more going on in Kentucky, especially around the Kelly Hopkinsville encounter and the farm, in caves around the area. There's all kinds of mystery here. What do you guys think? Do you think that they were great horned owls? Or do you think that they were possibly little grays? So according to the accounts given to the police, about 7 p.m. on a hot Sunday evening, Sutton family friend Billy Ray Taylor was fetching water from the backyard. Well, when he saw a silvery object, real bright, with an exhaust, all the colors of the rainbow. As he later recounted, it came silently toward the house, passed over it, stopped in the air, and then dropped straight to the ground. Taylor, 21, and his 18-year-old wife had come from Pennsylvania to visit Lucky Sutton. with whom he had worked on a traveling carnival, the Suttons' 50-year-old widow, and matriarch Glennie Langford, her 2 older sons and their wives, a brother-in-law, and a widow's 3 younger children, 12, 10, and 7, didn't take Billy Ray seriously, laughing off his UFO account. An hour later, alerted by the dog's incessant barking, Lucky and Billy Ray went to the back door and made out a strange glow, in the midst of which they spied a small humanoid creature, about 3.5 feet tall. It had an oversized head, almost perfectly round, arms extended almost to the ground, hands had talons, eyes glowed with a yellowish light. The body gave off an eerie shimmer in the light of the night's moon. And it was a new moon, they said, as it made of silver metal. Terrified, the 2 men grabbed a 20-gauge shotgun and a .22 rifle and fired at the little man, its hands now raised as if held up at gunpoint as it came toward the back door. They reported that it then did a flip, scrambled upright, and fled into the darkness. Shortly after, the men saw a similar creature appeared in the side window and fired through the window screen. Still impervious to bullets, the little men again flipped, then disappeared. I went out to the hallway and crouched down next to Billy when I saw one approaching the door. Mrs. Langford told Isabel Davis, author of expensive report called Close Encounter at Kelly and Others of 1955, it looked like a 5-gallon gasoline can with a head on top and small legs. It was shimmering bright, metal-like on my refrigerator. The drama escalated when Taylor stepped outside under the small overhanging roof, and those behind him saw a claw-like hand reach down and touch his hair. The group screamed and pulled Taylor back while Lucky shot above the overhang and then at another similar creature in a nearby tree. It floated to the ground and then scurried into the woods. The Suttons moved inside and spent several hours listening for movements, hearing mostly occasional scratches on the roof. At 11 p.m., the whole group ran for their cars and hightailed it to the Hopkinsville police station at top speed. Well, that's the story. You be the judge. Let me know what you think in the comments. And thank you for stopping by at Mountain Lake Files.